ever walk through the grocery store.
And like you see the price of your favorite candy bar went up again and think, is this inflation thing ever going away?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not alone. It's like trying to crack some secret code.
Right.
But don't worry. That's what we're here for. Welcome to the deep dive where we, take on the big topics.
Absolutely.
And today, we're all about the basics of economic systems. We're going to tackle that inflation mystery and really see how it all connects back to your life.
Yeah, because believe it or not, these concepts, they're not just for, Wall Street guys in suits.
Right.
They really are the invisible forces that are shaping the world around us.
Totally.
From that grocery store trip to, even like the job market and what kind of job you can get.
It's all connected.
So to kick things off, let's talk about those economic systems. Think of it like the operating system for a whole country.
Right.
When it comes to their money, their resources, how they use their people, the jobs.
Yeah.
Our notes lay out 4 main types, and I'm really glad they used relatable examples because,
Absolutely. I think examples are key.
it makes it so much easier to understand.
So, for example, imagine a small village, right?
Okay.
That has been fishing the same way for generations.
Okay.
They rely on bartering, trading fish for, tools or necessities.
Okay.
That's a traditional economy.
It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. It's all about tradition, what's been passed down.
That makes sense.
Okay, so then what about, we hear about these countries where it's like the government controls
Yeah.
what's being made, how much it costs, even what jobs people can have. That sounds kind of intense.
Yeah, but that's a command economy where the government is really like this conductor
Okay.
that's orchestrating every single aspect
that.
of the economy.
Yeah.
Think of it as like a single entity making all these decisions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess the opposite end of that would be the free market, right?
Exactly.
Where it's like a free-for-all, everyone's buying, selling, doing their thing.
Yeah, think of a bustling city
Okay.
with endless choices, right?
Yeah.
You decide what to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses compete for your attention,
Okay.
and the government really takes a back seat.
Interesting. So it's like the invisible hand. Exactly. It's all about individual choices and market forces.
Survival of the fittest, but with, businesses.
There you go.
Interesting. So where do most countries today, we always hear, where does America fall on this?
Right.
What is it?
That's where things get interesting. So most modern countries, including the U.S., operate with what's called a mixed economy.
Okay.
It's kind of like a blend
Makes sense.
of the free market
Yeah.
and the command economy.
Okay.
So you have the freedom to choose your job.
Okay.
You can choose what you want to buy.
Okay. Yeah.
But the government might step in to provide, things like roads and schools and set up regulations.
To try to keep things fair.
Exactly.
So it's like they're trying to find that balance.
Exactly.
Interesting. It all kind of clicks now.
So how does inflation play into this?
Right.
Because it seems like no matter what system you're working with, those prices just keep going up.
That's right. Inflation is this kind of, global phenomenon that we see.
Totally.
Remember that watermelon example from our notes?
Oh, yeah, with the watermelons, yeah.
If 100 people want to buy 100 watermelons,
Okay.
the price is going to stay relatively stable,
Right.
right? But then let's say suddenly there's 1,000 people
Oh, boy.
wanting those same 100 watermelons.
Yeah.
What happens?
People start bidding.
Exactly.
It's like, I'll pay $20. No, I'll pay 30.
Supply and demand.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
More money chasing the same amount of goods, that's inflation.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so where's all that extra money coming from in the first place?
That's where the Federal Reserve, or as it's more commonly known,
Yeah.
the Fed,
Okay.
the big kahuna of banks,
Okay.
they come in
All right.
and they control how much money is actually flowing through the system by setting interest rates.
Okay, so low interest rates mean more people are borrowing and spending,
Exactly.
which could lead to more people buying those watermelons and then higher prices.
There you go. You got it.
So why don't they just keep the interest rates high all the time? Then everything stays in check.
That's where it gets tricky, right? Think of the economy like a car.
Okay.
You need just the right amount of fuel, which in this case is money supply,
Okay, gotcha.
to keep it running smoothly.
Okay.
High interest rates are kind of like slamming the brakes on the economy.
Oh.
It's going to slow down borrowing and spending. It can help curb inflation. But if you do it too aggressively, it can also stall economic growth.
So it's like
That's a balancing act.
everything in economics is about finding that sweet spot.
It is.
This has been so helpful.
Oh, good.
I feel like things are really clicking for me now.
We learned about different economic systems. We've talked about villages that are tradition-based,
Hmm?
all the way up to these mixed economies like ours.
Yep.
Plus, we tackled inflation.
Mhm.
The Fed, it's a lot,
Absolutely.
but it's really interesting.
It is. And remember, like, understanding these concepts, it gives you this whole new lens for
Yes.
viewing current events.
Like
Like,
this.
the next time you see some big headline about interest rates or inflation or, whatever it may
But you're
be.
just going to skip over it.
Exactly. You're going to have a better grasp of what's at stake. How might this affect me?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Now, here's something to ponder, and I want to hear from our listeners on this, too.
Yeah.
As you look at the world and you see all these different economies, right?
Mhm.
You got your small villages, you got your global superpowers.
Hmm.
Where do you fall on this? Do you value individual freedom more, or do you think there needs to be more government control?
It's a great question.
It's a big question. It's one that's been debated for centuries,
Oh, absolutely.
but it's something to think about, especially as we move into this, increasingly complex world.
For sure.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. This was fun.
Yes. Thank you.
Let's do it again sometime.
Sounds good.